one thing I will say is that I'm very curious about Ben Underwood's projections after the day. I think we will have some sample size of Aravindh playing against this field in Blitz, and I'm expecting his numbers to be higher.
We have Petrov on the board.
Exactly.
Are we going to see another piece sacrifice on f7?
No, did not happen. The bishop d3.
Yeah, I think he's been doing this consistently, and it's not as empty as it might look. But of course, you're not really attempting to refute the Petrov if you play this.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Interesting, because you normally see c3, bishop c2, and d4 type development here, but Aravindh just goes for the very, very symmetrical.
And that's a very concrete reaction. Not these bishop f5, knight d7, and this is 4 versus 4 and 3 versus 3. But c7, c5.
Yeah, c5 and c6 does look quite comfortable here, because I think you can maybe make an argument that this is like a Rubinstein French, right? Maybe not the Tarrasch French. But in the Tarrasch French, the understanding as I knew it was, if the black knight is on e7, white is a bit better. If it's on f6, you generally tend to be quite healthy, and this is why people play c5 in these positions, I think, with wild abandon.
h7, h6, that's a move that Viktor Korchnoi hesitated to play because you get in these positions where after knight c6 and there's a pawn takes, there's a bishop takes, you don't want the bishop actually defending the pawn on f2.
Very interesting, subtle thing.
Yeah, exactly. So knight c6 came with the inclusion of h6.
I wonder how theoretical this line is, how many games still. Actually, there is none in my database that I see here.
I was about to say, I can't imagine them being too many. Now, in this moment...
So this is a pretty old line, right?
No, I think it's a pretty fresh line.
Fresh, with bishop
d3.
f1.
Oh, bishop f1.
Yeah, bishop d3, bishop f1, and it's... Bishop d3 in general is not that huge of a move against the Petrov, and this is very much...
So I wanted to say, for me, the question is, should I take knight takes d4, bishop to g4? Should I keep the tension with bishop e6, or try to play aggressively?
There was also an option of c5, c4.
And finally, a positional approach of c5, c4. He chose none of them.
Yeah.
Remarkable.
He played by bishop c6, after which...
a3. If you were going to play c4, the inclusion of bishop e6 and a3 might be the encouragement you want.
Yeah. Now it really does feel very comfortable.
Guessing the moves, because I never played Petrov, and hard to understand the subtleties and dynamics in this position. Yeah, bishop g4 looked so intuitive to me.
Exactly. a2, a3, a kind of suggestion that I might be taking on c5, but finally, I just don't see the objection. I would put it like
5-6.
Knight c5.
Queen
Knight
takes
c5.
b4.
Before is hanging.
Queen takes
That's
b4,
a
but
free
you
pawn.
get rid of the bishop, and fe6 is not
That's-
a very beautiful move, but you are a pawn up now, yeah.
3 seconds.
Wow, 3 seconds.
It looks like Vladimir is, on this evidence, the calmer of the two, on very, very low side.
So far.
But there is rook c8. Some awkward pins, yeah.
Rook f8, I guess. Knight takes g3. King f7, bishop e2. I don't know why we've allowed bishop
Oh,
e2.
bishop e2 was missed.
It wasn't winning. Rook f8, king g7 was still available, but I think you
It was
played.
good for white.
Yeah. Okay, this is now a draw.
Yeah, we have opposite color bishop endgame.
You
Oh, with queens.
this is clever. Actually.
Queen
h7
check,
coming.
careful.
Okay.
Oh, that was very good.
That is
I
good, yeah.
missed
That is
bishop
good.
e5. Again, keeping calm, and Vladimir, very, very impressive.
And while
You should take on c7
we'll watch
here.
this
I really
maybe
don't know
until
why
the-
we are
until the end.
doing this to ourselves.
Topalov
Queen
is
takes g3.
much better against Alireza.
Wow.
Oh wait,
Oh no!
Oh, he blundered.
He blundered
now Fedosev's winning.
completely.
Yeah. No, this is an experience, I think.
Exactly.
More than anything else.
King
This is just an
g6 and bishop
experience.
g7.
Oh my
And they
god.
trade queen.
Okay.
Clever.
Trick.
Pawn ending was.
I look at this, the march of the king all the way to e4.
Queen f6, I guess, or
Okay, just take the
just
pawn.
f2 and give squares for the king as well. Yeah.
They're managing to set up tricks with 2 seconds on the clock. It's absolutely
Remarkable.
incredible.
Queen e4 check. Finally.
Now it's game over.
Ooh, and very impressive victory. Where shall we go?
All games are finished.
All the games. are
Alireza
finished.
lost again.
Wow. But with this victory, Vladimir, some